everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my home. My name is Lynn Wilson and I'm glad you're joining me tonight. And we're going to chat about how can the Dollar Tree help a family of one or two? Is it really worth it now that it's $1.25? Stay tuned. Let's chat about it. So recently I've been to the Dollar Tree and I was looking around purposefully thinking to myself if I really want to still shop at the Dollar Tree. And if so, what are things that I would buy? Is it worth it? I'm a family of three, and for the most part, we're really down to a family of two because my youngest son, who is almost an adult, is special needs and prefers certain types of foods and certain things that I wouldn't buy at the Dollar Tree. Things he just wouldn't eat there. So really when I do a lot of my shopping, I do a separate grocery haul for him. And then so now we're down to two people. So looking around at the Dollar Tree, I'm thinking to myself, would I even shop here now that it's $1.25? And then I was at Walmart and I was looking at the prices at Walmart and trying to compare, this for that. And in some instances, I can say it is, Walmart versus Dollar Tree, which one? In other instances, I would say no. In the sense that Walmart is an apple and Dollar Tree is an orange. And we're trying to compare apples and oranges. And let me explain why I think that and how it might help you if you're a family of one or two and you're trying to shop at Dollar Tree or Walmart and decide what to do. So apples and oranges they make a great fruit salad, but you know what I'm saying when you're comparing things. Let me explain. So you're a family of one or two. You don't need a lot of flour. Let's use flour for an instance. You don't need a lot of flour. You don't really do baking from scratch. When you do, it's occasional. It's a small amount. You don't really have a lot of space possibly, and I hear it all the time. I don't have room in my freezer to put the flour, to either store it in there or, put it in for a couple of days before you take it out to use it, to kill off whatever. There could be 1,000,001 reasons. So here's the thing. When you go to Walmart, you're going to find a 5-pound bag, you're going to find a 10-pound bag, you're going to find a 25-pound bag. That's great if that's what you need. But if you only need a little bit of flour, Dollar Tree sells flour for $1.25 in a small package. It might be the perfect size for you. Same with pancake mix. If you're a family of one or two, unless you eat pancakes on a daily basis, you probably don't need a big bag or a big box of pancake mix. And you can go to Dollar Tree for $1.25 and get a bag of pancake mix, a box of Bisquick, for example. Why do I bring this up? Because you can buy the 5 to 10 pound bag of flour and store it. Yes, you can. Absolutely. You can dry can it. You can vacuum seal it. You can Mylar bag it. You can store it in the freezer. You can store it any way you want. You can store it in your pantry, however you choose to store it. But if you're going to buy, I had someone tell me that she went and bought 50 pounds of flour during her panic moment of everything going on 2 years ago. She's a single person, and now she's left with 50 pounds of flour that she doesn't know what to do with. Now, I don't want all the 50,000 suggestions. Tell her to give it to the needy, and she knows all that. She was trying to make a point to me that, why did I do that when I'm a family of one? And that was a good reminder that think through your needs. Think through what you need. For example, my husband and I bought a small, very small can of baked beans. We're two people. I don't need a jumbo can of beans. I don't even need a normal size can of baked beans. We won't go through it. Yes, I can freeze some of it. I can use it in an additional meal and so on and so forth. But for storing purposes, I don't want to store the extra. I don't have room in my freezer. Make a wise choice for your family. What are your family's needs? A small can. I did that on one of my hauls that I had done for you a while back. It was a small can of baked beans. It's the perfect size for one or two for dinner. Just things like that. I was just thinking through it, that when you're a family of one or two, you don't need. I see my mom now. My mom had my dad 7 months ago. And when my dad was alive, she was entertaining and doing things more, so she needed things on a larger scale. And then as my dad was becoming more and more ill, it was she was very limited on what she could feed him, so her groceries shrunk. Now that she's a family of one, I take her grocery shopping. She's getting smaller amounts, and she'll say to me, now I understand when I go to the grocery store and I wish they only sold 1 pork chop or 2 pork chops instead of the family size. Now, I understand also you can get the family size thing of pork chops or chicken or drumsticks or whatever, and you can repackage them and freeze them. Not everybody has the freezer space, and not everybody likes to keep things for a long period of time. You might be a family of 1 or 2 and you just don't like to have things in the freezer for a year to 2 years and want to use it up. I'm not saying there's a right or a wrong answer here. There is not a right or wrong. This is just something to make you and help you think through some tips that you could give yourself on, hey, wait a minute, I don't need a big bag of flour, or I don't need a big bag of this, or even like cold cereal. They have a decent size box, and sometimes you can actually get a full size box there, but they have big enough that if you're a family of 1 or 2 and you don't eat cold cereal often, but every once in a while you have the hankering for it, maybe that would be a better option for you at $1.25. Now, you could go to Walmart and get the family size, and you can freeze half of it, and you can store it, vacuum seal it, and all the rest. That might be a great option for you. But not everybody has the space to store it. Vacuum sealing it and all the rest is not everybody's forte. So you would pay, $3 to $5 upward dollars for flour at Walmart. Not saying that's not a bad deal for the size you're getting, but you could spend just $1.25 to get a smaller amount that would really possibly last you a year, because you're only a family of 1 or 2 and you don't need that much flour. You might flour your, pork chops or your chicken when you go to fry them up, or you might need them for a few things. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I think about it, I'm like, yeah, really, the Dollar Tree is convenient at $1.25, even though they raise their prices. Not happy, not saying I'm happy, but thinking through it, there are some items still at the Dollar Tree that for a smaller family, you don't always want the bigger size boxes of things. So even though it's maybe, how do you say it, pound for pound or ounce for ounce, or, the unit prices and all that, I get all that. That at Walmart it might be overall a better deal. But is it a better deal if you're going to not have the room to store it? Is it a better deal if you're not going to use it properly or use it up, or you don't have the space to store it, or, and everybody's different. Again, there is not a right or wrong answer on this. I get it. There are some things I'm finding myself that I want on a smaller scale, going to Dollar Tree to pick up. And then there are other things that I'm like, no way, Jose, much better over at Walmart or similar, grocery store or whatever the case might be. So I just thought I'd come on here and think through this with you. What do you think? Do you find yourself needing less, that you are a family of 1 or 2, and yet you're kind of buying this bigger item, box or a bigger bag of something because that's what they sell at Walmart or the grocery store, and yet you go, wait a minute, scratch your head, I could use a smaller amount of that. That might be a better deal for me. So maybe think through that. See what, your pantry is looking like, and if you need to fill up on that stockpile before you run out, and fill up on that stockpile. Now maybe you have $40 and you need to go get some things for the stockpile. Well, look at the $40, look at the things that you need to buy, and decide, do I need all those items in the larger size? Not to say that that's not a good price for the larger size, but your family maybe is smaller than it was a year ago, 2 years ago, 4 years ago, whatever, and you're just not needing that amount of food anymore. I know some of you are going to come on here and say, we need to prep, we need to fill up, we need to stock up. I also get that. But I have a lot of people that tell me they don't have the space. Some people live in a very small one-room, studio apartment, and they have a small refrigerator with a mini freezer. They don't have the room to freeze things. So, and if you're not into the vacuum sealing and the Mylar bags, those of us that do it, it becomes very natural, like, well, of course you would do that. But there are many people that is not their thing, and they want to keep things on a smaller scale. So I just really wanted to encourage you to think through before you fill your stockpile up and before you do your next grocery haul or whatever you do to, go around and pick up a few items. Think through, do I really want and do I really need those bigger bags and boxes of items, or would going to the Dollar Tree and paying $1.25 for a small bag of sugar, a small bag of flour, things like that maybe would suit your family's needs, would be better servicing you because of storage and space. You would use it up in the same amount of time in a year, and you wouldn't have to buy it for another year, so maybe it's a better deal for you. And it's $1.25 versus maybe paying anywhere from $3 to $8 depending on the product, because of the size that you would have to buy at a regular grocery store. The $1.25 might be a better deal for you. As well as those of you that are on a budget, sometimes the Dollar Tree is still a better buy in some things that you can purchase. I would love to hear from you. If you're a family of one or two and you're thinking through that, I don't know that I need all that food because I don't have the room to store it, or I wouldn't use it up in a proper amount of time, I guess is the best way to think through that. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear from you anyway. It was great chatting with you today. I hope you are all doing well. If you think of our family, we could use a little prayer. We're having some struggles here at home with Graham. It's been a rough 2 days. So those of you that are prayer warriors, thumbs up to you. If you would just give a little shout out to the Lord for the Wilson family, we'd appreciate it. Thanks so much for coming over, and we'll catch you all on the next video.